talked about the physical aspect, the physical trauma. But a lot of people don't realize that emotional trauma, as I was talking
Oh,
about last week, is
yeah.
just as equally
Oh, yeah.
important,
Oh, yeah.
if not worse, than physical trauma. And I know a lot of people that have been in abusive relationships would say that the verbal abuse was worse than the physical,
Yeah.
because the physical they can heal from. The verbal ones rattles in our mind over and over and over again, continuing the pattern and continuing our thought process about it. And a perfect example, just to give, I love giving examples. When Morgan died, upon finding him and touching him to see if he was alive, once I knew he was dead, because I did, once I knew he was dead, I instantly dropped to the floor, but then I instantly got up because my mind kicked into gear. I need to call 911. I need to call Dave, that Dave, because we were dating too. So yeah, there's a little personal relationship right there. Uh, but my mind turned into, these are the things I have to do, because in this traumatic event, even though it was emotional, it didn't hit me. Like, it wasn't like I got hit by a truck. It wasn't like I got hit in a car accident. It wasn't like I got tranked by something. Physically, it was all emotional and mind. And when I dropped to the floor and then got up, because reaction mode, got to do these things, that moment of time that I denied myself to be able to drop to the floor and feel what I was going through in that moment caused so much emotional pain for me that I didn't even realize it, like how much it was holding me back, how much I had a hard time breathing, how much I had a hard time navigating within the world. Because unfortunately, in that moment of time, I had my own business and I didn't have PTO time, and I was living paycheck to paycheck. But I didn't have the time to properly grieve in that moment for my son, because I had to be in survival mode. I had to do what I needed to do. And so, because I was grieving in a world that was not grieving, that moment of time that I denied myself really affected me physically, emotionally, and mentally. And it wasn't until I had a treatment. Dave usually is my MFR therapist to this day. Dave was treating me, and I went back to that moment of time, and I felt what I needed to feel. In that moment, I just wanted to stay by his side. And that's it. To stay in that moment, to feel his body without feeling it, because trust me, anybody who's touched a dead body, it does not feel good, and it's something that gets stuck for a while. But I wanted to be in that space, in that death space, and I denied myself that. I've learned to cry when I cry, so it helps with the emotional pain. So, ignoring even just that trauma, that emotional trauma, really kind of set the course for a lot of things. Not only his death, but the denial of certain things for myself. That through MFR and through touch, from a therapist, that they don't necessarily have to be skilled. I've had some great, and I know Dave has too, has some great experiences with people that are not in the profession, but they hold the space so that way you can feel safe and you can explore what you need to explore. John does a patient therapist healing seminar. And in that, it's patients. It's not, and they may or may not have treatments, and I've had some pretty profound memories and falling from complete strangers that don't do the work at all. So it's not about just being an expert. The expert, in my opinion, comes from creating the space that someone needs to let go, because we're all walking around guarded. We're all walking around I need to protect myself. I can't let somebody see this side of me. I can't forgive myself. I can't. And this whole thing just then ripples amongst ourselves. So, crying, I cry in the middle of public, and I used to not, don't get me wrong. Now, obviously I do. There's triggers regarding my son. So, that emotional pain is just as terrible, and it gets stuck in there too. The script, as Dave was talking about, the movie script, that got snipped, that didn't play out. So sometimes, because it's emotional, I know a lot of people don't understand that. We all know that one person that seems to cry at the drop of a dime, and everyone would say, why are that person always crying all the time? What kind of life did they have? What are they sad about? Are they sad? Like in this case where I started crying about my son and thinking of that moment of time. Some of us are walking around with that pain all day, every day, and it starts to affect physical when we already have, as we saw with the photo, we already have the restrictions, and then now we have the pain.